Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here today. We're going to take another look at RLC. Just technical charts, no fundamentals. Please feel free to comment below if you have insight on what's going on behind the scenes. But we're only looking at the charts to ensure we can find a good entry point for you and of course kind of see what happened with that recent price hike and the retracement. So we'll take a look at all that here today and of course compare with Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm not a financial advisor, just please understand that this is for educational purposes only. Always do your own research. If you'd like $25 in Bitcoin, there is a link in the description below from Voyager, as well as my Patreon account and a link to our Telegram community in case you'd like to get engaged and learn as much as you can about crypto and just communicate openly with like-minded individuals. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just check it right out. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at RLC. Before we do, I always like to preface with Bitcoin and Ethereum, kind of just do a very quick bird's eye view from the 4-hour chart to see what's going on with both of those, so we understand more specifically how that might have impacted RLC today. All right, so let's take a quick look there first at Bitcoin. So here is Bitcoin, and what do you know? It sold off again, unfortunately. Now what I did earlier is I marked this up here, just so you know this is a resistance level, was tested about 6 times at 59,000. Okay, so that is currently the next major resistance. And good news is this previous support level is holding, so it kind of looks like it almost tested that here today, right at about 53,300 or 53.5 is what tested today. Okay, so that's essentially what we're looking at for the price range. Basically just means that the 57,000 original support and resistance level is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of getting washed away. Not exactly though in my opinion, because the fact that the 50 and the 200-day moving average are kind of right there at 57,000, so I feel like it's still a major, at this point, resistance level. I was very surprised to see the price drop below, because typically when both the 50 and the 200-day moving average kind of combine together, it creates a stronger support. But as you can see, the price just drove right straight through that. So obviously some whales were in there taking complete control of the market, and the price came down to as low as about 53,500 as a rough estimate. Right now, the price is currently trending at approximately 55,000 even, plus or minus a few dollars, and we'll see where that ends up. But the price is underneath the 100-day moving average right now, which is neither good nor bad because it hasn't, this red bar hasn't closed yet, but it does look like it's trying to get a lot lower. We'll see what happens. We'll come back to that perhaps a little bit later, but for now, let's go ahead and take a quick look at Ethereum. This is the 15-minute chart. Of course, you can see the strong dip from Bitcoin, along with a major recovery and again retracing at this point. So no surprise, it's kind of following Bitcoin to the T right now, which is normal for Ethereum in the first few hours of trading. But what we could likely see here soon is if Bitcoin stabilizes, you'll see some people flock over to Ethereum and the price should recover nicely. That would be my guess. But good news is all 3 moving averages are still trading under the price action at this point, so we're in good shape there. 50-day moving average is coming up to possibly be tested in the next few days. I expect it to be a week or two out, but it will likely be this week within 2 or 3 days. So hopefully we'll see what happens when the price intersects essentially, because the 50-day moving average on the 4-hour chart along with the 200 both seem to be pretty strong indications of support and resistance levels. So we'll see what happens with that. Other than that, not much else to really factor in here. You can see the RSI is kind of centralizing itself right around 50. So just kind of normal behavior considering what just happened with Bitcoin. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at RLC now. And this is the 15-minute chart. We're going to start with a 1-day chart and work our way down. If you're new to the channel, I always like to look at the big picture first and just kind of start getting closer so we can approach a lot of different aspects here. In other words, look at the 1-day charts helps us see the bird's eye view, the big picture, but looking at the 4-hour chart is most important, as well as a 15-minute, where we spend a little bit more time understanding good entry points. So let's go ahead and look at this here first with RLC. And just the obvious thing to note, and this is pretty standard for these 2 super strong increase in price days. Like, I mean, look at this here. First of all, from here to here was a 141% increase. That's day number 1, and day number 2 of major price increase is roughly about 82%. So that is a significant increase in price over a 48-hour period. Okay. So again, what goes up must come down. Even if it's a super, super strong bull run, the price has to recover somewhat. Okay. And what you want to see, honestly, on a bull run is a short period of consolidation every day or two. So this isn't in bad shape. I do feel like the price could continue to progress upwards. This might just be a slow dip because it's trying to recover from the price action being so strong, so fast for the last couple of days. But also the fact that Bitcoin kind of had a sell-off here today, and that momentum was essentially slowed down consistently over the last, just say 4 to 6 to 8 hours, right in that range there. We'll see when we get a little closer on the charts, but generally speaking, this retracement is no surprise. We want the RSI to come back down under 70. Not a big deal again on the one-day chart, but in the big picture, you can tell that the price is considered to be extremely overbought at this point, and the momentum is peaking. So if you see the MACD here, that is extremely high. It will eventually calm down and come back down. So that being said, this first bull run, it would be safe to say that it's past, and we'll perhaps see something in the future, but we'll look at this shorter time frames to identify that. And let's go ahead and look at that now with the 4-hour chart. It's helpful to look at this, of course, because as you can see, yeah, there it is. There's the last 8 hours of retracement, likely caused from Bitcoin selling off earlier today, roughly around noon Pacific. So we see this here, normal. This is also extremely normal here, this 4-hour bar, because the price was extremely overextended earlier today. Okay. And as you can see, the bulls have conceded. The bears are in complete control. You see these very strong, volume bars that are closing in red. Basically, just means that there's a strong push. But what's also interesting to notice here too is that the price closed close to when this one opened. So I mean that tells us there is a significant amount of momentum still. So I would say that after this retracement continues, there's a good chance the price will also continue upwards. But again, we want to wait for confirmation before we take entry. We'll look at the 15-minute chart to identify that. But for now, looking at the 4-hour, you can see here that the RSI is still over 70, but it's just about to peak underneath. Now that's a good sign. That typically means that the price is calming down. It kind of is necessary based on such volume over the past few hours. So this is kind of normal. This is the retracement we want to have in order for a good strong bull run to continue. Okay, so we would like for this to come down and hang out in the 50-60 range in the RSI for, I would say, at least another 12 hours, preferably, and then see the price increase from there. So that way we can kind of get, the price needs to find its average true range. And right now, it's still perhaps a little overextended, but we're going to look at some support and resistance levels soon and see if we can identify where it might bounce. I do see one kind of forming right here, so there's a good chance one of the previous highs, right around $11, could be a good consideration, but we'll look at that here soon. Last but not least, the MACD is also losing momentum, so it does imply that the bulls are out of control, and essentially the bears are starting to gain control with the price action kind of coming down. So when you see the MACD do this, this doesn't exactly mean that it's going to come all the way down and just be bear town for days. It just means that the price momentum has shifted and the overall sentiment is bearish right now. Sometimes that's a good signal to buy, as long as you can find a good entry point with proper confirmation. So moving forward, let's take a look at the 15-minute chart. We'll see what's going on here. So, great news is RSI is pretty low. It didn't come under 30 at all here, so that tells us that it's not extremely oversold, which is good. It basically means that the price action is kind of leveling out, and we could see the price, maybe sticking around in this range right here. Now we'll look at some support lines here and see what's going on, but just to quickly note, also volumes kind of tapering off, which is all very normal and standard for this type of retracement after the price increase the way that it did. Again, that was a pretty significant increase, and we would look at this here roughly in a, what is that? It's like almost a full day, just over 3/4 of a trading day, 66%. So it makes sense it's coming down. I mean, for the most part, anytime you see a normal retracement is usually about about 60%. So from this top point here, 60% of the way down is approximately what we're looking at. So the price is right around where it should be, all things considered. So I like the way the price action is right now. I feel comfortable with this, and according to what I see so far, I would say that this is a decent buy, a decent position here. $11 right in that range is a pretty affordable price. It's right where the price should be for now. Now if it goes on another bull run, awesome. It'd be great if it did that. The 4-hour and one day charts do kind of identify that. It does tell us that they're still, because you see how much volume and volatility in the last 24 hours, even leading into Bitcoin sell-off here today, which was right in this range here. Very strong, very good, really good position, because we didn't see the price come crashing down. It's just kind of doing a normal retracement. That tells me there's still a lot of momentum, a lot of bullish momentum here, and that we should expect to see the price kind of come back up here in the near future. So if we see Bitcoin recover to 58, 59 the way that it was earlier today, I'm sure we'll see some more confidence and more investment, and the price coming back up again. But again, just a note before we look at any other indicators, I always like to highlight this if you're new to the channel, just so you can kind of learn this here. The RSI being over 70 is usually an indication of a sell signal. And of course, the inverse of the RSI is under 30, that is a buy signal. So if you see this here with the RSI right here, as soon as it peaked up over 70, this longer green bar here, that would be an indication to me to consider trimming some off the top. In other words, when the RSI gets over 70, it's common for there to be a retracement shortly after. Again, if it's on a bull run, you won't see that. But if it's peaking, which it did, it was at this peak over the last 2 days, it had to come back down. And this is a consideration here to kind of look at. So that being said, when the RSI goes up over that much, and you see this here, this difference, right as soon as the price comes up over VWAP, we got 2 solid green bars here. That'd be a case in point where we'd want to take entry. And then we saw the price come up. Now, if you have a position in this situation here, and you're riding this wave up here, to me, personally, right as soon as the second one closes and I see the RSI is over 70, I would consider exiting my position at that time, because it's likely a retracement will occur soon. Now again, a lot of people that are not conservative like myself think that's a terrible idea. And that's okay. You can do you, that's okay. But the reason why I do this is because it keeps me safe and ensures I'm profitable, right? So to have a green day at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're taking profits when you can. If you don't take your profits in this scenario, just say you ride up and you're getting really excited, comes up here to an all-time high of $16.60, and the price starts to come down, you anticipate and you want it to essentially consolidate and come back up again, and it never does. It comes all the way back down here, all your profits are lost, right? So to me, taking profits while you can is an important thing. Looking at the RSI helps you do that. So please just understand that. That is what I try to drive home in all my videos. If you've seen anything previously, you'll note that I'm pretty consistent in that sense, and I'm consistently profitable too. I can't say that I'm having, 10x days. I'll guarantee you that. It's not what I do. But I have profitable green days that keep me profitable every day. And to me, just growing my account, my portfolio 1 or 2% a day, that's good for me, because over the course of a few years, I'm going to be in very good shape to continue to have a very large wallet and not jeopardizing it by taking super large entries and risky behavior. Okay. So again, that's kind of that there. And also on the sentiment there as well, make sure that you have a clear head when you're investing. If you're ever upset about something, don't take entry. Just let it pass you by. That's okay if you lost out on potential options. You're always going to lose out, and you're never going to have a perfect trade, okay? But the key is to have more consistent trading, right? So if you're not in a good state of mind, you're going to have bad results, and it's just kind of the way it works. I used to fight that a lot, like I got out of a bad trade, and you instantly want to get in, and you get these this frustration that you want to be able to to make profit, and you don't want to end on a bad note. You're better off walking away and calling it a day, trying again tomorrow, or at least have a level head and go into it again. All right, enough about that. So in this scenario here, just to kind of plain as day, here's kind of the scenario. Price is currently under VWAP right now, right? So that's this blue line here. So the volume weighted average price is a little bit higher. That's normal, that's standard for the price increase being the way it was. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, because buying under VWAP can be occasionally beneficial if you identify other support levels, right? It could just be our next milestone to pay attention to when we get there. We want to reassess confirmation. But looking at just say the big picture here, let's just on the 15-minute chart, let's go ahead and see if we can identify some support and resistance lines, and then see what's going on here. Because obviously that's been tested 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and previously here as well. Yeah, so I mean, it does appear right now the price is hovering right around the support level of $10.92. So $10.92. So in this scenario here, just as an example, the second bar right here that's forming, I think it just started, but once this bar right here, if it closes green, that would be an indication of a buy signal for me. In other words, what I mean by that is I always like to see 2 solid green bars above confirmation, or correction, above a support level. That is essentially the confirmation I'm looking for. So if you see here, just for example, say we had marked this support line a little while ago and we were looking at this maybe 2 or 3 hours ago. Right here would be a potential buy signal because there's 2 solid green bars closing above a support level. And what that does, that means that the momentum is essentially moving in the direction you want to head, which is going long, essentially a bullish position. And what you would do is you take entry and you would essentially try to sell closer to here. Of course, it's easier said than done, don't get me wrong. It's hard to identify when it's going to shift and turn around, but that's just an example of a good entry point, right? It doesn't always work out perfectly, which is why I like to take my profits when I can. As soon as I get into a position like this and I see it reversing, I sell what I went into it. In other words, I'd probably put in a 20% position here, come up here, and I'd sell that same 20% when I got closer to the top, or as soon as that second bar closes red, then I'm out. Okay. So same scenario could occur here. So if, for example, these 2 things close, in other words, this second green bar, reddish green bar is trying to figure it out right now. If that closes, that would be an indication of a buy signal for me, and I'd set my goal to try to get to the volume weighted average price. If I get halfway and it starts turning around on me, then I would possibly consider selling my position. But generally speaking, you want to wait for confirmation on any support and resistance level. This is a support line, and this is a support line too. The volume weighted average price is a consistent, continuous support and resistance level. In case you don't know this already, sorry if I'm a broken record to those who have watched my videos before, volume weighted average price is essentially just the volume of the last 24 hours as an average price. So that's why it works as a consistent support line and resistance line, because this is what the price should be at. So if the price is under that, then it's essentially considered underbought, right? It's essentially a good value. Now it's not 100%, you want to make sure you wait for confirmation first, but that is essentially what we're looking at, right? That's kind of the explanation there. One last thing we can do here is just take a look at the 1-minute chart, just to see if we can identify, sorry, keep marking things up here, we'll get rid of this guy here. But yeah, just to quickly look, because I always turn on my 15-minute, correction, my 15-day EMA line, because it's another indication of momentum. So as you can kind of see here, when the price is underneath the EMA, it's essentially considered bearish, and this is bullish here. So if you're going to try to take entry on a 1-minute chart, which isn't always recommended unless you plan to just get in and out quickly, and if you're not day trading, don't worry about it. 15-minute chart's perfect. But if you are essentially day trading, you're looking at this here, then you want to wait for confirmation again. But again, instead of 2 15-minute green bars, you want to have at least 2 to 3 1-minute green bars. In other words, taking a look at this, you see these here, these three little green bars there, I would probably consider taking entry right here. Now again, this probably wouldn't have been a very profitable entrance, right? I could have gotten in there, it comes down, reverses, and look, it comes down to here. But I feel comfortable doing that because it's above the support level, right? So if the price comes down and touches that support and bounces off, then I'm still in good shape to hold my position. If it breaks support, becomes a resistance, I get out of my position and I'm all good. I don't mind taking a small loss like that, and the reason why is because I only went in with 20 to 30% of my actual portfolio. Whatever I have available to trade, if my goal is to trade with 5,000, I go in with 30%, then I'm going to go ahead and hit that number there. I'm going to put in 1,500 to 2,000, and of course remove that if it passes that support or resistance level. So I hope you understand kind of what I'm trying to get at here. Confirmation is the most important thing you want to take away from this. And if you see these three, if you see 3 solid green bars, that is essentially confirmation. It shows that there is bullish momentum, bullish sentiment, and it's above that your confirmation is two things here, twofold. You have the support level of $10 and what is it, $10.92, and you also have the moving average, the exponential moving average, the EMA line of 15 EMA is telling you that the price is above it as well. That's a good sign too. Here's another case in point. This is another example here. Another potential confirmation to buy, right? So that's just kind of an example. It doesn't always work out perfectly, trust me on that, but I can tell you that if you can minimize your loss by making sure that you pay close attention to these indicators. Working close by with the support levels and resistance levels makes perfect sense. It's a sound way to invest. So try to, again, take emotion out of the equation and just use what you have here in this case, which is only the indicators, right? So you're not buying this because it's a good product. You are seeing the fact that there is a specific chart that's telling you, it's giving you signals, and you got to pay attention to that. Either way, that's what I have for you here today. So if you did find benefit, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate you joining me here today. And if you're a return subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new to the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. Join our Telegram community. Feel free to contact me through Patreon and or well, Telegram's a good way too, but I'm getting a larger amount of followers there, so I can tell you that it's getting a little bit bigger, but you will learn a lot. Okay. Either way, that's a conversation for another day. Thank you so much for your time. We'll go ahead and see you in the next video. Have a good day.